Plaintiff, Kaisha Johnson, says when she married the defendant, she thought they would have a good life. But he became a pill-popping kidnapper who lied about her being abusive. Kaisha claims the defendant reported her to Child Protective Services, but the claims were unfounded, and she's suing him today for emotional distress and defamation. Defendant Eugene Ray says while married, Kaisha had a 5-year affair, and he insists she is abusive to their children. Eugene admits that he called Child Protective Services and took his child away for several weeks to protect him from Kaisha, and he's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Okay, well, Your Honor, I met Eugene Ray back in 2009. I thought we would have a nice life together, but he turned out to be a pill-popping kidnapper who's a slow, sneaky snake at all times.
When did you find all those things out?
I would say about 6 to 8 months after we had our first son, which was a year later. Which was a year later after we had gotten together.
After you had your first son, what does that mean? You had more after finding all that out?
Yes, we had one more afterwards.
Why did you have more after finding all that out?
Well, see, the thing
that he was a pill-popping? Describe him again.
A pill-popping kidnapper who is a slow, sneaky snake.
You knew all that, and you said, well, I'll just give him another chance.
Well, we tried to work it out. The thing is, I had cheated on him 3 months into our marriage, and he found out about it. I thought we were going to try to work it out, but he was never able to trust me afterwards. We tried to work it out.
What did he do snakish in the first year? Because what you did was certainly snakish.
You're right, and that was my big mistake.
No, what did he do as a snake?
He convinced me that we were going to work it out, while all the time he was turning people against me, saying that I was abusive towards him and our son. He was telling me we were working it out, while all along he was planning on leaving me and not letting me know.
How did you know that? How did you come to find that out?
I woke up one day, I looked around, the computers was gone, and so was our child.
Oh, that's a pretty good indication, yeah. What year was that?
That was in 2010.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and since that time, how's your relationship been?
Well, since that time, I've tried to do nothing but help him, but he likes to go...
For what? What's wrong with him?
Well, he does not... for example, I help him, I have my own house, and he does not like to pay bills, so he would rather put a tent in my backyard. Yes.
How long ago did he put a tent?
He's been doing that ever since I moved into our town, which was 2015, so about a year.
Living in a tent in your backyard?
In my backyard, yes.
Let me get to him. Sir, you want to give me some background?
I sure can. She needed help with rent.
When was this?
I stayed in the garage when she's claiming I was in her backyard.
So you paid to live in the garage?
For the last year and a half or two, yes.
You paid for a year and a half to live in the garage?
Yes.
How much per month? Quiet. How much per month?
I don't know. I'd probably give her $40 every now and then, you know.
Okay. Yeah, you ain't have anywhere else to go. But go ahead. What else you want me to know?
I am very mad about her seeing this other guy the whole time we were married.
She did while you were married? She saw him the entire time?
I believe she's been seeing him the whole time before we got married and after.
Okay.
For 5 years. I had not known anything about it until 12/17 of 15. That's when that was dated. She does have a problem with hitting on my kids. Every time I pick up my 6-year-old, he's telling me Mama's still hitting on me. That's also on paper.
When did that begin?
It began around 2 years old when she couldn't take it and just started hitting on
He started telling you at age 2?
Yep.
All right. And
I have
did
it
you
on
ever
paper
have the
where
child removed from her custody?
CPS doesn't do anything about it.
And you
I
have
called CPS. I have taken the child away for several weeks at a time for his own safety.
All right.
She does have a problem with hitting on my kids. Every time I pick up my 6-year-old, he's telling me Mama's still hitting on me. CPS doesn't do anything about it.
And you
I have called CPS. I have taken the child away for several weeks at a time for his own safety.
All right.
Defendant Eugene Ray was married to the plaintiff. And he claims he called Child Protective Services on her because he believes she is physically abusing and neglecting his children.
Has the child ever informed anyone other than you of this abuse?
Yes.
Do you have any evidence that the child told CPS that she was physically abusing him?
I do not have that on me.
Okay, good enough. On you? Where is it?
CPS has that. They told me it'd take a week to get a printout.
All right, and how long ago did you ask them? A week ago?
I asked them a couple months ago. They just blow me off.
A week is gone. You said they told you it was a week.
Yeah, it'd take a week to get it, and nothing in the mail.
Okay. All right, so do you have anything at all?
I have where she had admitted hitting the kids.
What
and
is
it doesn't
that?
do no good for physical therapy.
Something she wrote down? Let's
all
see.
this is.
All right. This is her admitting to hitting the child. I am growing as a mother. Less screaming, less spankings, more talking. Some people see that as wrong. I don't. I know my kid. He doesn't respond well to physical punishment. All right. Sounds like you're admitting to doing it, although you also admit he's not responding
And
well.
I would like to say something. Child Protective Services, like he said, he's called him several
Let's
times.
talk about this first. Let's talk about this first.
Okay.
Did you admit? Is
Yes,
this your
I have
writing?
spanked him. Yes, that
Okay,
is
so
mine.
what do you want to say about this? This is an admission that you hit the child.
I spank him. I don't abuse
Yeah, that's hidden.
him.
You got, in order to spank, you got to do that.
Yes, I
All
have
right.
hit
You
him
do?
in the past.
Okay, and that's what he's alleging. And he's alleging that's abuse, and in some courts now, it's abuse. So what else you want me to know?
I was, like you said, some people do see that as abusive, and I had a Child Protective Service lady explain that to me. So I voluntarily asked them to work with me to show me better ways to discipline my son. He's called them, and it was unsubstantiated.
What else has he done?
He's put on Facebook that I am an abuser, put my information on Facebook if you would like to see that.
Let's see it.
Okay, I'll just show you this part right here. That's highlighted.
This is all your emotional distress, and this is your defamation, obviously. Everyone beware, I just found out this. I was lied to for 5 years. Now this person is a habitual liar and a child abuser and probably molested my kids. And I will find out my kids were hid in front of me and got away with it every time. I also was locking up my kids in the room, leaving the house where a boyfriend. Okay, truth is a major defense. I don't know how much of this is true other than you did spank the child, but certainly, sir, you're gonna have to tell me where you get this reasonable belief that she may have molested the kids. You have to convince me that you have a reasonable belief to have put in the public domain a statement that she may have molested the kids.
Well, first of all, when I did have the kids, my 6-year-old wanted to touch me in places where I didn't like it. My 6-year-old has a problem with going to the bathroom on his own. I've talked to several doctors, and that's one of the signs of being molested. I don't know how much of it's true, but on the website, there is, when I looked up the website, it was a child molesting website, and her name was in there. They wanted $30 for the full printout.
All right. And what did the Child Protective Services say about these things you're telling me?
They had nowhere for him to go.
I'm sorry?
They had nowhere for him to go.
No, about the molesting. What did they say when you told them the things that you're telling me?
They said there is no proof that they can prove that he was molested.
Do you have any evidence that they recorded it?
They didn't record it.
All right, because I have evidence of what they did record. I have the evidence of the allegations that you made. And none of those allegations involved anything inappropriate regarding sexual molestation. That's a highly inflammatory allegation. You all go back and forth taking the kids. I take the kids for 2 weeks because you're not right, because you spank them, because you this, because you a dope fiend, because you that. But what does that have to do with molesting a child? That's a highly inflammatory, defaming allegation that you must show me some evidence that you reported it. Because if you didn't report it, then you are negligent.
I did.
And you should be jailed. Show me. You reported the negligence and the physical abuse. Why didn't you report it to Child Protective Services as you did that?
I did report it to
Why didn't they write it down? And by the way, you couldn't get it, but she did.
That's an Indiana State Child.
Whatever it is, why didn't you report it?
I did.
Then why didn't they write it down? They wrote all your other things down. I don't believe you, sir.
Okay.
Don't believe you reported it, and they failed to write that allegation down. They wrote the other allegations down that you made.
Defendant Eugene Ray was married to the plaintiff, and he claims he called Child Protective Services on her because he believes she is physically abusing and neglecting his children.
What's your counterclaim for? What did she do to you to cause you emotional distress, sir? Because she's proved that you defamed her. What has she done to you?
Well, first of all, she was seeing this guy the whole time.
Good enough. What else? Cheating, you don't get $5,000 for cheating. What else? What else she do to you?
She is mentally abusing me and my kids.
How?
And
Well, how does she mentally abuse you?
The website I looked all that up on was...
We're not talking about that molestation you looked up.
Okay.
What else? Anything else?
Yeah, it's just being lied to all the time. And
All right, being lied to is not something that you can sue your spouse or your ex-spouse or your ex-girlfriend about. All right, have a good day. Your claim is dismissed. Yours is granted for defamation. It was not alleged in these other allegations with Child Protective Services. He provides absolutely no evidence that he alleged it to anyone, because I'm sure if he thought his own children were being molested, he would go to the police and he would certainly have mentioned it to them. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I hope you stop lying on me. Please stop lying on me.
Whatever.
Slow, sneaky snake.